hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.
Welcome again to Street Talk. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki. And on Street Talk, what we do, we talk about the political, social, and economics here in Michigan, the U.S., and abroad. Now, joining me tonight,
Charles Thomas.
Okay, we've got a lot to cover, so we're gonna get at it. We was talking about before we got on air. We was talking about how we can pull the black family together, because when I come along and you come along, I know my father only got to 3rd grade, and my mother probably finished 8th or 9th grade, but my father could do, he worked at a factory where they make chairs at, and he could run all those machines and all these different things, and he couldn't read, couldn't write,
right,
but he knew all these things,
Yeah.
And it was in all probably 11 of us, not at one time, but 2 passed away early in life, but we all had a chance to get some college, and as I said before, my sisters got them degrees and all them other things, and the boys, they missed out. We all, I guess we was, thinking about other things,
right,
instead of
yeah, we wasn't focused.
Yeah, we lost focus.
Yeah.
But that's the difference we see now, because back then my mother and my father used to say, y'all get an education,
Yeah, or to have it better than I had.
Right, yeah,
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What's happening to us now?
Well, I think what's really happening, we've lost sight, we lost focus as a people. We're more selfish, or more individuality has set in.
Okay.
We used to, in our generation, we was more community oriented, or they call it village oriented. And we went to church on a regular basis, and we didn't want to shame the family, and women had more had a better position in society than they do now. They have more respect. Now we taking that respect from our women by how we've treated them over the years. And my father too, he was a sharecropper. He couldn't read because he couldn't go to school.
Right.
He had to get out in the field. But he can pick up the dirt and smell it and tell you anything you want to know about agriculture.
Yeah.
And then he moved north for more money and a better way of life, getting away from Jim Crow. So I think we never stopped running. We're running away from ourselves instead of running to ourselves. And the problem today is not an external problem. We got a black problem. It's because we've lost everything and lost direction. So I feel that we need to get more focused, and we need to communicate more in the black family. We need to elevate our black women and our black daughters and be more protective as fathers. And, you know, and things should, because the next generation is going to get worse if we don't nip in the bud now.
When you were speaking of that, I thought about, I was reading something 2 years ago now, where 72% of all of the black babies being born now out of wedlock.
Yeah, that's a travesty.
I mean, here, 72%. So when we see, I was watching, you know, I never watch TV. I just, unless the news be on, I'll just, you know, move around channel. If this one on break, then I'll turn to the next one. With you know, now it seems like they all on break the same time. You know, I guess to keep, so they can
keep the money train going.
Yeah. But they got TV series now where it's only black and Hispanic. The police is after all the time.
Yeah,
you know? It's just a really sad situation that we've come to.
Right, and it's conditioning. So if I can, it's like it's an advertisement. If I put something on TV enough, then it'll seep into the psyche of the people that's watching it. And commercials are a big form of hypnotizing a mind. And so when you see that, you perpetuate it unconsciously. It's like subliminal seduction. It'll convince you that you're worthless or that you're not important. So you act it out. And a lot of these reality shows and what's this black show that everybody's watching now?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Everybody
watches.
Yeah, everybody's. You know,
and they get all this stuff going in. You can't keep up with it. There's so much stuff that's thrown out there, but it's stereotyping us. But people watch it. It's entertainment. So those are the things that are affecting us.
I was last week. I was thinking about we get it's so crazy foolishness over here, okay, blacks, and over here we get all this violence. You know, if it's a black movie, they killing and stabbing and we don't ever get anything that's
uplifting,
right,
positive,
uplifting. You know, it's this crazy murder. This violence over here.
One extreme.
You know.
And it's a tool that's being used to keep us acting like we act.
Now, what do you think are some of the things that we could grab a hold of? You know, that we could grab a hold of and try to stop some of this foolishness. That's all it is. I mean, it's just a bunch of foolishness. When I'm out there, I see our young black guys, and you know, a lot of them ain't real young, you know, but pants is all down to their knees and speeding off in cars, loud music. I mean, what's happening, man?
It's a breakdown that we allowed to happen.
Okay.
We didn't check our children, and because of the black family been so divided, there's no discipline. And you got women trying to raise men.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got churches teaching our young black African American men to worship another man,
mm-hmm.
and that creates you to be a second-class citizen
mm-hmm.
because you giving all your love to this person instead of loving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, to me, it's a form of personal self-destruction. It's not, we don't have a white problem. We got a black problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it is killing us,
mm-hmm.
and it's going to kill us
mm-hmm.
if we don't turn it around
mm-hmm.
and teach our children that how important a family is
mm-hmm.
and the purpose of a family. And that's in the Bible, but if it's not taught correctly, or if it's not reinforced,
mm-hmm.
then you will continue to get this deterioration.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have a religion if you ain't got economics.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have an education if you ain't got economics.
Right.
All these things work together to build a person up,
mm-hmm.
to give you credibility
mm-hmm.
or value.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't accept another man's religion as your religion if you're not contributing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just taking from the community and not giving it back, your results is going to be the same thing. What
mm-hmm.
goes around comes around.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been feeding into this game of stagnation for so long that we got to change our paradigm and open our eyes up and face reality and start teaching our daughters, to be ladies and
mm-hmm.
start respecting our wives
mm-hmm.
and consider their conversation. And I'm guilty of it too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not no.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah.
But we got to learn how to communicate and talk at the table, teach our young men, and if you have a child, raise that child.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
mm-hmm.
leave it to the woman and let her run on her own because, you're not learning and you're not growing from that experience.
That's one of the things, man, that simply just leaves me, looking for words to say when I see, and I see a lot of them. I was looking at a lady yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the store, and she come in the store. She had one about 3 years old. One's about 2 years old, and she was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I've seen her more than one time, so I don't know whether she's married or not. I've never seen her with a man, but here she got 3 kids. She got 2, and a third one's on the way. It's like, and then we get a lot of them saying, "Oh, I don't want no husband. I don't want," but instead of having kids,
yeah, and that's forever. That child is yours forever.
Yeah,
it ain't no game.
No,
but they playing it as a game because they're looking for love in all the wrong places. Love is within you.
mm-hmm.
You don't have to have a child, to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
But we're looking for that father figure, and that father figure has just gone out of the black community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's only a few of us that should be willing to work together to formulate some type of a system, even if it's just getting together just to have a dialogue. Say, look, this is what a man is.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, you might have somebody that might open up, some youth that might open up and say, I never had a father figure.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm doing now, I think that's all I know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you got these women that teaching them, the children, to hate their daddy because their daddy ain't in their lives.
Right.
And so he's going to grow up, and then he's going to be in the institution.
Yeah.
And so everybody's making money off the black man.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that a couple years ago. I don't know about now. It's been about 2 years now since I've read this, and don't know how it is, how true it is now. But I know 2 years ago, 52% of the people in jail, 52% of them were black. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now we only make up 13 to 15% of the whole population, but 52% of people in jail were black.
Mm-hmm.
So, how how do that happen?
Because the absence of the man in the family.
Okay.
You know, and that's something that we have to come to grips with, because our generation let the black woman down.
Okay.
And we have to let the black woman know that we have to apologize to the black woman for doing and treating her like we treated her. She had to raise them kids. We thought running around having sex was entertainment.
And
then you have a child, and then that reality sets in. No, that ain't my baby. You know, and we didn't. Well, that was before the DNA thing, and now it's still going on. I watch these judges with these DNA tests and trying to find out who the daddy is. That's embarrassing to go on TV to find out if this is the dad or that's the dad. But we are perpetuating that by not being men and not taking care of our responsibility. So it's going to be an ongoing thing until the black men stand up and say, look, you got to stop doing this. If you do this, this is what you're going to get. And ought to take them downtown and beat them in the public.
You know, it's a, and like you were saying, it's a thing, you know, and I've talked about this, you know, on one of my shows earlier. But I remember I was in a park, and there were 4 guys sitting at one of these park benches, you know, and it was probably, you know, 12, 1 o'clock, something like that, during the day, and 4 brothers sitting there at this table. They had about 5 or 6 these big old bottles of beer.
40s.
Yeah. And you know, that beer had got them loose and everything, and they were,
they were feeling themselves.
I got 5. Those other guy, I got 4. It's like, and for me sitting there watching them, it's like, okay, he's got 5, he's got 4, he's got 4, and he's got 3 or 4. Now, and from what it looks like, if this is a day during the week, it's like, okay, all these kids, this is about, you know, about 16 or 18 kids that, from looking at it, their father is out here sitting up on a tree drinking brew when he should be somewhere working.
Take care of family.
Right. And we get millions and millions of them like that.
Yeah. And we're producing it. Yeah. I mean, I've heard black women say that your daddy ain't this and your daddy ain't that, you know. And so when they tell them, these little kids, that, and they think the same thing about their daddy, or their daddy is their hero. So they grow up and they be nothing. And then when the city incarcerates them, and the system is not going to do anything to change them, so these are going to be going in and out of the penal system. So, and until the black man himself say, look, you black men, or set up programs for these black men that's getting out of prison and put them back into society in the black community, start building businesses, you know, collect our money, pool our money together, and buy things and teach these skilled trades, plumbing, electrical. Everybody's not college material.
No.
You know, so you can teach them plumbing, electricity, landscaping, and things of that nature.
And they can make a lot of money doing it.
Right, and then teach them to get an education and come back to the black community. Because religion is letting us down. Religion is something that is sugarcoating the problem. It's got to be talked about more in the churches, more in the community, and something's got to be done to pool our resources together so that we can help these youth come together and build a community and build the black family and build the black woman back to her rightful place.
And you know, it's a, you know, it's a, I don't know what I want to call it, but it's a thing now. We see of black women out here with these great jobs, but it's only a few, you know, and I'm generalizing a little bit, a few of a black men who are up and doing the same thing, you know, who are reticent with these ladies, and so
on that level.
Yeah. So we get our black women who, you know, they say, you know, I don't want him, you know, it's like. And when, you know, me and you was coming along, you know, it's like it wasn't like that, you know, because we both were trying to do, you know, the man and the women were trying to do, you know, it wasn't a thing where, and I see it a lot, where our men, you know, and most of them young, are not trying to do anything, and the lady they're seeing, you know, a lot of time she's got a job, but he don't have a job.
Yeah, and that all depends on their upbringing. You know, if they're brought up to thinking in a negative term, then what they'll do, the negative individual will go to the lady that's got something and bring her down to nothing.
Yep.
You know, and that goes back to that slave mentality. You know, if that what was the crabs in the barrel thing?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Even though this lady, and most women, they want an education and they want a good man, but they get hoodwinked with the rap and with the, you know, they like that bad boy image. And that bad boy taken right out of the And their parents invested a lot of money in their education. But they'll look for the roughneck.
Yeah. I know, and we only got about probably got 3 to 5 minutes, but I know this young lady, you know, because she's kind of in the family a bit, you know, through I won't name. Anyway, you know, she was going to school, doing great and everything, and winning scholarships and everything, and next thing we knew, she's pregnant. She was going to college, man, and next thing we knew, my sister was telling my wife she's pregnant. It's like, what? I mean, and come to find out, the guy didn't have a job, wasn't doing anything, but he got her pregnant.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's just
it's selfishness.
Yeah.
It's selfishness, and it's ignorant on her part. But they want that father figure, and they want somebody that's dominating.
Yeah.
You know, so they fall a victim to that sweetness that he's spewing out of his mouth, and knowing full well that he wasn't working.
Right.
But she go along with the program, and then bam.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, it just, I don't know.
You know, these are some of the things that should be talked about in the family dinner table, and in the black churches in the community, to have not just to talk about religion, but get these kids acclimated to competing in life. Teach them, you know, and work with them with their homework. Teach them a different language. Teach them mathematics. Teach them to be competitive, and how cold the world is, and how strong the black family is.
Yeah.
And give them a chance to make it.
Right. And you hit on something, man. It's like, here we are, you know, has the everything, you know, to be the strongest people, and just losing it all.
Right.
Just throwing it away and everything, because, and I'll, I hope I'm wrong, but to me, the next, 15 years, I would say 15, 10 or 15, but I would say 15. I'm gonna tell you, if we keep going the way we're going, and I've said this a lot of times, but we're gonna see, a few of us men out here, walking around and everything, with our degrees and everything, but it's gonna be most of us going to be laying on sidewalks or in jail. That's what it's going to be.
Or stealing from the ones that's got.
Yeah.
And my thing, too, Ahmad, is we have experienced so much as a people.
Mm-hmm.
And if life gives you a lemon,
mm-hmm.
we should be able to make lemonade.
That's it.
Because no one has been put down like we have been
mm-hmm.
put down
yeah.
and has survived it.
That's it.
So why can't we market that
mm-hmm.
and let the world know through our collective efforts
mm-hmm.
that we are somebody and that we are resilient and that we're going to make it regardless. We don't need to depend on white folks' handout.
Mm-hmm.
And from the story in the Bible about Lazarus and the rich man,
mm-hmm.
that's how, if Lazarus hadn't got himself together, he would have been thrown into that pit with that rich man.
Mm-hmm.
But he gave him a choice,
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's what when you read, if the church is not teaching you how to interpret the book,
mm-hmm.
they need to close it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because if the story of Moses, it parallels our situation.
Mm-hmm.
The
mm-hmm.
prodigal son, it
mm-hmm.
parallels our situation.
Mm-hmm.
But if you got an idiot that don't know how to teach you that,
mm-hmm.
to lift you out of that
mm-hmm.
situation, then he shouldn't be behind the pulpit.
No.
That pulpit means if you don't know what you're talking about, he's pulling you closer to the pit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you got to find somebody that understands the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a Muslim in the Nation of Islam,
mm-hmm.
and I was a great believer in it.
mm-hmm.
But I was in it because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was saying, "Do for yourself."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so when I got in the program, we were doing for self. We were selling newspapers,
mm-hmm.
and we were buying farmland.
Mm-hmm.
We were buying chicken factories,
mm-hmm.
canning factories.
Mm-hmm.
We had land all over
yeah.
the country,
yeah.
and we were flying in fish
mm-hmm.
from Peru,
Yeah.
just from selling papers
Yeah.
on a collective effort.
Yeah.
And it made me feel good.
mm-hmm.
So when we teach our children to be a man, and then if you sitting at home running the remote control, you ain't being a man.
No.
You got to have economics.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so until we get economics, until we start to doing something for ourselves,
mm-hmm.
we just going to be drifting aimlessly in this mud.
That's it.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, "You are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God."